it loaded, keep it loaded, keep it loaded. Very nice, I'm looking at the camera. Very nice, good, good, good. All right, guys, I got this motorcycle here at the house, but before I say anything else about it, just look at this motorcycle, guys. It is beautiful. Now, I'm gonna say that this is the first time that I'm seeing this legendary orange color out in the sun. I've seen it in the dealership a bunch of times, but it's just way, way more impressive. All right, guys. So here's the skinny. I got good news and I got bad news. The good news for you is the bad news is for me. The bad news is this is not my motorcycle. I did not purchase this motorcycle, right? I'm gonna get more into that. But the good news is this motorcycle could actually belong to you, right? And I'm gonna tell you how this motorcycle could be yours. I'm gonna introduce you to the CEO of West Point School of Music. His name's Julian. So Julian, come on in here, man. Listen.
Good to be here.
Julian is not only a friend of mine, he's a V.I.Preloader, but again, he is the CEO of West Point School of Music. So if you would like to, tell us a little bit about the West Point School of Music and what you do, your vision, all of that stuff.
Well, good. West Point is an organization I founded in 2011 to bring music education and performance opportunities to children living in tough neighborhoods. I live in Chicago. I love the city, and I reluctantly will admit here that we have been known to have some violence from time to time. But you shouldn't be misguided by that. There are thousands of people in the city of Chicago who are trying to do good by themselves and by their children. And part of what we do as an organization is we bring music education. We provide instruments, we provide instructors, we provide a space, we provide transportation, we provide meals, so that if there's someone living on the south side of Chicago, a young child between the ages of 7 and 18, right, from 3rd grade through high school, if they want to learn to play an instrument, maybe they're not into sports, but they would like to play an instrument, they can come to our facility or come to our program and be instructed. There is no cost to their parents, so economics, the circumstances of your birth, your zip code, none of these things eliminate a child from this opportunity. So that's the heart of what I do.
Okay, good. And so how does this motorcycle tie into, well, you know what? How do motorcycles, period, tie into West Point School of Music? Because I know the answer, but I think it's a fascinating story, and I want you to just briefly share that.
Well, I fell in love with motorcycle riding about 4 years ago, and one of the people I reached out to to help fuel that passion was Be the Boss of Your Motorcycle, Robert Simmons. I called him, I said, listen, I want to ride a motorcycle. I have some fear, I have some anxiety, and he was so calm and so inspirational and motivational. So I came down here to Pula, spent some days with him, and went back to Chicago confident and competent and preloading and keeping it loaded and all the things that you will hear him talk about on this channel. I also took the knowledge back to Chicago and spent a lot of time with my young staff practicing motorcycle riding, and several of them have become pretty devoted and committed motorcycle riders. And we have tied our love for motorcycle and our love for music, and we want that to be a part of sort of how we're known as we do our work.
So when you came down to me, you rented my 2019 Road King Special, right? And that's how you pretty much learned everything that you know now. Then you went home and purchased a Road King Special, right?
I did purchase a Road King Special.
That's what
I fell in love with Angel, and fell in love with Harleys.
Yes.
Because Harleys, it's overrated, until you sit on one and take off.
Yeah.
Then you say, oh, I get why there is this sense around the Harley. It is not just myth.
Yeah. And you currently have what?
Road King, a Road Glide.
Yeah, 2024.
A Road Glide 2024, and I love that vehicle. Love it so much. I'm not riding it till I get my crash guard.
And that brings us to this beautiful motorcycle and the idea. And so tell me about that. What inspired you to do this and what's going on? I already told everybody this can possibly be their motorcycle. Talk to us about that.
So I lead a not-for-profit. I lead a not-for-profit. And when you lead a not-for-profit, you're dependent constantly on the donations of generous people.
Yes, yes.
We are funded by grants from the city, grants from private foundations, and there is some unpredictability with those funding. Sometimes the city grants are late, state grants are late. Sometimes private foundations decide that we have funded you for 2 years, you need to take a year off, and the challenge is in a not-for-profit to find a funding stream that maybe is able to resist some of the vicissitudes of the idiosyncrasies of foundation and government funding. And we thought we would have a fundraiser that was tied around motorcycle riding, motorcycle riders. As we talked about it, I felt we needed to have a draw. We need to have something that gets the attention of people. And the idea of raffling a motorcycle came up. It came up before, but they were talking about a motorcycle at maybe a $10,000 motorcycle, and I felt that you couldn't raffle anything that a lot of people can go buy. The price had to be of high value.
Absolutely.
So this came into my mind because this is the Lamborghini of Harley, right? I would argue that it's the Lamborghini of motorcycles across the globe, right? If it's not the best, which some people might resist that idea, if it's not the best, it certainly has to be right there with the best. And I talked to some of our funders and private funders. After making the case, they bought in and helped us to raise the funds we needed to purchase this motorcycle. And the idea is that we will keep this motorcycle, promote it for the next 8 months as the raffle, and then in mid-August, we will have the raffle conclude, draw a winner, and all of this is happening on online, independent site. We are not involved. We don't have any say on the organization's end in terms of who wins. Yes. Right. No staff is involved, and the winner of the raffle will receive a vehicle that's $50,000.
Yeah, actually 50 plus. Listen, that's this genius, in my opinion, is genius, because if you're gonna raffle off a motorcycle, not just the CVO, you guys know how much I love CVOs, but a CVO with a legendary orange. So it's the top paint job, it's got the King Tour Pack, it's got everything you could want. Now here, guys, is the good news for you. You're gonna raffle this off, right?
Yeah.
How much are the raffle tickets for this?
$100.
$100 for a raffle ticket. So guys, you can actually own this motorcycle for $100. Now, the bad news for me, I told you guys it's good news and bad news. The bad news for me is I'm not eligible. I'm still gonna buy a ticket if they, because in my opinion, you don't lose here. If I put $100, $500, $1,000, whatever I decide to do, I can't win the bike anyway, but if somebody else does that, if you don't win the bike, you still help out this organization, and that's just awesome. So I love stuff like this because I'm never gonna feel like I lost. Of course, I feel a lot happier if I won this, but I can't win it. So that's the bad news for me. So listen, that's just a genius idea, man, genius idea. Okay, so how do people register for this so that they can get entered in this raffle? It's a website, correct?
It's a website.
Okay.
And you just click on there and you'll be able to purchase a ticket, 1, 2, 3, 5. I was telling some of my staff, I said if I were eligible, I would purchase one ticket a month for 8 months.
Oh, you're right. That would be an excellent idea instead of just one shot. And that's the other good thing, guys. Back to the bad news. This motorcycle is going to sit in my garage until August. When's the drawing?
August the 16th.
August the 16th. Today is January 8th. That's a long time to be looking at this bike and can't ride it, right? And knowing I can't own it. But you know what? Again, I'm doing my part to make sure that this goes off without a hitch because it's important to me that this school, I've been out there, I watched what's going on out there, and all you need to do is see it and experience it, and it's going to make you want to be a part of it. So I'm going to put a link for that website in the description section here. And again, guys, 8 months, I'm going to have this bike. So you're going to be hearing a lot from me regarding this bike.
Good. I want to say, there are no losers here, right? You purchase a raffle ticket, you win. Even if you don't ride, you could sell it, you could give it to your significant other. You can give it back to the organization if you so choose and let us raffle it again. But if you don't win and you've spent $100 for a ticket, know that you are making it possible for young children in some of the toughest situations that you can imagine. You're making it possible for them to come weekly and learn to play an instrument, perform, develop skills, develop competence, develop confidence. You are really going to be a part of helping us to create people who you wouldn't mind living next to. And I think the challenge with us generally as human beings is we are not thinking down the road enough. When we decide not to be generous and philanthropic, and we decide to tribalize and hunker down in our neck of the woods, it might work for a time, but eventually the woods is growing and it's coming towards us. I needed an upside. I needed a reason for people to look at West Point School of Music. I needed a reason for people to support West Point School of Music. And I think this is a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so listen, I'm excited about this. I can't wait to see all I keep thinking about is, oh my God, whoever wins this motorcycle is going to be so lucky. And here's the good thing, guys. Whoever wins this motorcycle, no matter where you're from, you're going to have to come here to get it. So I'm going to get to meet you. Julian's going to get to meet you in person. And if you like, 2 hours of private instruction from me comes with this motorcycle right here in Pooler, Georgia. Right? So my advice is we'll take the bags off. Don't worry about that because it doesn't have saddlebag guards on it. But I'm just super, super excited, man. So anyway, guys, listen, if you're interested in this, what he said about $100 a month, that's actually a great idea, right? But the thing I love about this is you have until August. So even if you can only scrounge up $100 for a ticket, you're in. All right, guys? So again, guys, check the website right here. And it's going to be a long 8 months for me, but I'm excited about it. Spend more time being thankful for the things that you have, guys, and less time complaining about the things that you don't. And the good thing is, we're talking about a motorcycle here. Seat time doesn't equal practice time, guys.
If you have time to ride, you have time to practice.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Until next time. Nothing scrape. I'm not going to scrape it because it ain't my bike, and nobody can give me permission to scrape it. Smooth stop. This is her home until August 16th. Right. Do it again! No, I'm just kidding. Let me just do it. All right. All right. This is her home until August 16th. Good luck, guys.
I was born in Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean, the son of a single mother, and life was tough. I remember as a 7-year-old wanting to play an instrument and privately carrying that desire because I did not want to burden my mother further. It was hard enough to put food on the table for her to make ends meet. When as a child you have to think about what you bring to your parents or your parent based on sort of the economics of your life, it's extremely difficult. When I held an instrument at 17, the joy of being able to make music and do things that I'd heard on the radio, that was really great, but there was also profound sadness because I am now sitting with 11-year-olds and 12-year-olds who can do the same thing I can do at 17 and 18 because they had opportunities that I didn't. The circumstances of their birth were different than the circumstances of my birth. And I found at 17 that I was behind and not ahead. I made a decision that part of what the work I would do with my life was make sure that any young person in my sphere who wanted to play an instrument would have an opportunity to do so. Those thoughts and those ideas animate my current work. I'm convinced that there are people, young people, who have tremendous gifts, and the only reason we are not discovering them is because they don't have the opportunity. It has nothing to do with inability. But I do not think that there is anything else a young person can do that helps teach them discipline, focus, perseverance, teamwork, like learning to play an instrument. It's physical, it's mental, it's emotional, right? It's cooperative. So all of those things at the same time, it uses the right side of the brain and the left side of the brain, the scientific dimension of the brain and the artistic dimension of the brain. If we want to do something for young people that helps them to think and to be emotional and be cooperative, then we need to introduce music education, which is them learning to play an instrument. But in addition to, we need to have opportunities for them to perform, because the skills you learn, learning to play A, B, C, D, E, F, G or a scale in a classroom with your friends is very different from playing it on a stage in a concert setting, to also stand in front of an audience and channel the fear and the nerves and the anxiety and perform that piece. And that combination teaches all kinds of valuable life skills. West Point's mission is to make good people. And I don't think you make good people in a year or in a year and a half. The key to us is to have relationships with our students over the long haul. Music is not an activity you get into and you do for a year and you drop it and do something else. So we are not interested in hit and missing. We wanted to be involved with young people over the course of their childhood. And I think in order to effectively do that, you need to be a community-based model program. In 2011, I founded West Point with 5 instruments and 7 kids. Today, West Point has a budget of $1.2 million, a full-time staff of 14, our own instrument repair shop, a steel drum manufacturing plant, and we now partner with 10 CPS schools serving 500 students a week. Too many programs are one-offs, episodic, short, and we're not developing relationships. And you cannot mentor, you cannot influence on a one-off. In September 2022, we purchased our facility, and it was a tremendous time for us because we were attempting to do work that required space. And after renting space and begging for space and being turned away after agreements were in place for us to use space, a chance to have a facility that's laid out as we need it, that fits our needs, was tremendously liberating. Because for the first time, we could pull all of our programs into one space. Our steel drum manufacturing shop, our instrument repair shop, our Celebration and Steel Elementary Steel Pan program, our urban music makers, and our flagship program, Epic Steel Orchestra. West Point wants to be present on the South Side, a viable, vital, community-based, tuition-free community music school, serving generations of children. We are well on our way with the acquisition of our space, but there is no performance space on the property. West Point's mission is education and its performance. So we want to add to the community, to the landscape of the South Side and to the community of Roseland, a 1,000-seat performance hall on our 3 acres. And we are looking forward to the day when we're able to build that and the young people, generations of them, are able to go through this place, developing their confidence and their competence and becoming tremendous adults.